Hey, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in once again. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. First, I want to give a thanks to all the people who have subscribed to this channel over the years. This channel's been going on for about, good Lord, for a long time. I can't even remember, 5-6 years maybe, but for times, there was a time where it was a lull in videos for a long time, content for a long time, basically because just basically trying to finish up school, trying to get a degree, get a license, moving, buying a house, this, that, and the third. There's a lot going on career-wise, life-wise, family-wise, career-wise. And then once all that pretty much quote unquote got settled, then I was able to get back to the content because I missed it. I missed doing it. There's a lot of things I saw. It's like, man, I need to comment on that, but I didn't have time. You know what I'm saying? Just didn't have time. I made sure I had 2-3 jobs. It was a lot going on at the time. Trying to start other businesses. Period. A lot going on. So now I've got back into it, and it's been work. And for anybody who's trying to get into it, wants to get into it, man, it is work. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot. It's a lot more than just getting up here and making videos. When you're doing it on your own, you gotta do all your own, editing, uploading, all that kind of stuff. So it's simple, but it isn't easy, especially when you have other things going on in life. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Right now, I'm somewhat monetized, which is great. Well, we could take super chats, super thanks, and all that kind of stuff. So any support, during the premieres, and hopefully soon do live streams, once I get, a whole bunch of subscribers and stuff, get the live streams going and things, and who knows what the future might hold. But like I said, I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Like I say, you want support, like I say, do super chats, do super thanks. Got the, what you call it, what's that called? Cash App, things of that nature. Just support. Hell, or just hit a thumbs up or hit a share and get other people to subscribe. That's cool with me right now. Just putting the word, just y'all putting the word out for more people to see the content is good enough for me at this point, because I'm still growing, still trying to build, and all it's going to do is just make it easier and make it to where I'm more able to do other things and better things and to upgrade the equipment, the content, etc., etc. Things I'm able to do in the community. That's all I'm going to do is help. Anyway, thank you again, but and I appreciate everything. So let's get into the story. I say to say this, back on Biden and his border crisis. He is, I don't know what's going on. It still doesn't make sense. Even if Joe Biden wants, or the Democratic Party, or people who run these major corporations want all these illegals to come in and to work for them for small wages. It still does not make sense when you compare it to or base it against the security of the nation. It just doesn't. But it seems like the Democrats don't care. And these two stories I want to bring to you. To me, you vote for who you want to. You vote for who you want to. I just want to bring out some stuff to say, hey, here's something that just does not look right, and you might want to question it. That's why I bring these stories I really don't be trying to persuade you to think one way or another, but sometimes the information just comes out that way. But I want you to think. I want you to say, hey, I hear what's going on. I see what's going on. Now let me go and ask questions to make sense of it. I do that all the time. I've been like that my whole life that I can remember, especially when it came to specifically like religion, scriptures, the Bible, Christianity. I would question things that was in the Bible, or not necessarily in the Bible. Well, yeah, question how the person interpreted what the Bible said, or what it meant, and why is it this way and that way. Make it make sense. And most time people will get emotional and just want to cuss you out, want to talk bad about you and dismiss you. They let you know that they don't know what they're talking about, and you need to do more research. That's all. Just research it, because heck, I done studied Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Hebrew Israelites, all this kind of stuff. So you have to know. You can't tuck your head and hide and think it's going to get better. It never does, because when you bring your head back up, them problems still there. And matter of fact, it's more problems that then arise because you didn't solve the first issues. And my issue is people voting just for party and person when you need to vote for policy. Period. That's all I'm saying. Vote for policy. But let's get into it. And what you have to also understand is you just can't go by your normal, regular news sources. You gotta get online, do some searching, Google some topics, and don't just go by the first page that you see on Google or Yahoo or whatever, however you look up things online. Scroll through like a couple of pages. Download some news, some different news feed apps that'll pop up on your phone where certain stories will pop up, and you can vet the stories all you want to. But my thing, like I said, you'll get news outlets that you never heard of, but you can look it up, and then you can Google, go into that store, read that store, then research and see where they got that from, and then keep researching and keep vetting, and then finally you'll realize that it's a legit story. That's what you call in school, like peer-reviewed, like when they talk about peer-reviewed articles back in school and in nursing school, even these nursing journals or medical journals, they have peer-reviewed articles. Basically, somebody put out a story and the peers have to review it, and then they'll base everything they read on things that they can look up and substantiate and say, okay, you can put this out because it's backed by facts. That's what you do. But anyway, let's get into the story. I've been on a tirade long enough. So it's two articles I want to hit on. One from a website called AmericanMilitaryNews.com. And it says Biden issues threat over border bill will let more illegal migrants stay in U.S. Crazy, ain't it? It says Republican lawmakers slammed President Joe Biden and his administration after the White House threatened that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, would reduce removal operations of illegal immigrants if Congress refused to pass the Senate's border bill. Isn't that crazy? Dude said, I'll close the border if you just pass this bill. Like, what does that got to do with price in China? What you're saying, you're basically telling us that you could close the border now just by snapping your fingers. All we have to do is agree to a bill, a bipartisan bill, and everything is done. Man, that is blackmail like a sun gun. During the press gaggle aboard Air Force One on Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre claimed that ICE will, quote, be forced to reduce operations because of budget shortfalls in the coming weeks. Is this the same budget where y'all sending millions and billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel for wars that, for me, seem like they're lasting too long? Because this is not like in the Civil War days where people walked across land to go fight each other. You got all kind of technology and satellites where you can pinpoint a person's cell phone to the exact point, to the exact location that they're at, to the seat that I'm sitting in. You can pinpoint my cell phone. You can't find these people that you swear are terrorists and people who are going against democracy and starting these wars and starting guerrilla warfare and all that kind of stuff. You say you acting like you can't destroy them in an instant? Make it make sense. Just let me know this is all about money. But you gonna tell me you got a budget shortfall and you ain't got no money. But you sending money to everybody, giving money to these migrants. You know, y'all got money to pass out prepaid bank cards or credit card, whatever you call it, to migrants so they can eat what they want to eat. And you're giving them $9,000 a month to stay in hotels, good hotels. But you ain't got enough money. But Greg Abbott, that son gone by on razor wire, putting up buoys, putting up train rail cars and putting them along the border. And then the ones that get across, shipping them son guns to different states. Shoot, if Texas can do it, why not? Heck, the U.S. government can't do it. Again, make it make sense. The press secretary appeared to shift the blame Wednesday for the border crisis that has taken place under the Biden administration's open border policies. Jean-Pierre argued that congressional Republicans are prioritizing partisan politics instead of U.S. national security by refusing to pass a bipartisan national security agreement. Man, that's a bunch of bull crap. I'm sorry. You got to make it make. I said it too many damn times. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. Like I said, you're putting together two things. Everybody in this country wants them borders closed. Every U.S. citizen in this country wants the borders closed. Well, not be wide open. You can have your checkpoints open like it always have been. People can try to come through and they can, go through the process. And if they're eligible and they pass the criteria, okay, you can stay. But then if they don't pass the criteria, you got to go back. It's as simple as that. You got to have organization is what we're talking about here. Not just closing the border down like a Great Wall of China type thing. You got to have organization, and there is none. They're just saying, well, just let them come by, come across. And you see these videos where these SUVs pull up to this little corner where there's a 4-inch gap in the wall, in the fence in the wall, and they just run up to it, run around, and run from that side to this side, and go down the wall and say, hey, I'm seeking asylum. And they just keep going, and the troops and whoever don't touch them. That's not how it's supposed to go. But this is a story where, what's that, Eagle Pass? And the great Greg Abbott said that they went from like 4,000 migrants trying to pass a day to like 3 or 4 a day once Texas took over that spot. Again, Texas can do it. Why in the heck the federal government can't do it? We're going to get into that. Hold on. When let's say here is what that means. ICE would be forced to reduce its removal operations, its total detention capacity, and more, Jean-Pierre added. When ICE can't conduct these operations, our national security and public safety will be harmed. It's already harmed. Man, look at here. It's already harmed. Vote for who you want to. The $118 billion bill mentioned by the White House press secretary has been proposed in the Senate and includes roughly $20 billion for the border funding. However, Republicans have warned that the legislation could make the border situation worse and is merely a trap to boost Biden ahead of the 2024 presidential election. Man, I can't vote for somebody who's trying to extort and blackmail people. Not me. I can't do it, man. Like I said in other videos, he might, from here till November, that dude could close the border. He could give reparations. He could pass anti-black hate crime bills. He can do stuff for the troops and homeless people to get them off the streets and in the shelters and help people. He can, help them find places to live. He can do something about the wages. He can do all this stuff. And that dude, I still would not, me personally, I still wouldn't vote for him. Because why? Because the soon as he can make that happen, just like that, he can take it away. Because you remember President Trump signed a bill, set aside money for HBCUs. Biden got in office and cut that down by like, I want to lie and say like 90%, from 80 to 90%. But then come back and said that he gave more money to HBCUs than any other president. when that's not the case. I did a video about that. One of my first videos years ago when Trump was in office, and HBCUs wanted, what was it, $4 billion. And I said, you know how, we as a people, Black Americans, can raise $4 billion and send to HBCUs ourselves. I was like, it's like 100 and something HBCUs at the time. And if every working Black American sent in $10 to every HBCU, you can do it one HBCU a month. And that would be, however many years or whatever. And was it 12? It was 100, 10 years, whatever. It was something like $10 to every HBCU. And within 4 years or 8 years, you would have $4 billion sent to all schools equally. And they can do as they please with it. You won't have to rely on the government. But anyway, that's a whole different story. In response to the White House's threat of cutting back on ICE's illegal immigrant removal operations, Republicans in both the House and the Senate criticized the Biden administration, threatening the American people. Republican Representative Austin Pfluger, a Republican for Texas, tweeted, "President Biden has now resorted to threatening the American people with an even worse border crisis. The president already has the tools and authority he needs to close the border. This crisis is intentional." And it seems like it is. It just seems like that they are trying to force people to vote Democrat, force Republicans to side with the Democrats, saying either you pass this bill or my hands are tied. I gotta reduce money to ICE because we don't have the money to do this. It's like with the prepaid food card in New York City. They claim that all the immigrants are going to financially destroy the city. But yet, somehow, you came up with the bright idea of giving them food cards that are worth up to $1,000 each per month. Right now, it's a pilot program with 500 families. And you'll see how it goes. And you're saying it actually saved money because the illegal immigrants are not eating the food that is being served in the places that they're at. And you're like, well, it's saving money. Well, you know how you can really save money? Ship them son guns back home. Hurry up and run them through the dang on me justice system and ship their tails back home. You're not making, I mean, come on now. It's simple. It's nothing hard about that. It's simple. But no, they are trying to justify why they're keeping these people. And it's people that, like I say, it's something going on. And it's folks that's in higher positions of power than higher than we can even think of, that are making these decisions. And it always has to do with the money. The saying goes, if you want to find the problems, the root of the problems, follow the money. Senator Mike Lee, Republican from Utah, described the White House's threat as extortion, while Senator Rick Scott, Republican of Florida, claimed Biden is not serious about securing the southern border between the United States and Mexico. Scott argued that the border legislation is only meant to score political points. I believe that's what it is. It's always about politics too. Is Biden a president or a mobster? Senator Marshall Blackburn, Republican of Tennessee, questioned in a post on social media. Attempting to shake down Republicans for a bad immigration bill won't secure our southern border. It shows Biden can fix the problem that he created. Senator Bill Hagerty of Tennessee warned Americans not to believe the blame shifting nonsense of the Biden administration. The senator explained that when he proposed a bill to provide additional funding to deport illegal immigrant criminals from the United States, every single Democrat voted against it. You would think as a human being, everybody would be on the same page when it comes to doing the right thing, no matter what. You would think that people would know how to compromise when we're all trying to get to the same goal. We want the borders controlled. There are a lot of issues out there that we do not agree on. But When it's an issue like this and it affects the security of the country in so many ways, my enemies become my friends. Just for this. We can do it down here, and I'm going to say down here in the South, when it comes to football, high school football. Been doing it for ever. You got little towns in the South where they got a east side and west side, or north and the south, but it's separated by railroad tracks. Kids have always been told, do not go on that side of the railroad tracks to go play with them kids because they're either black or they're white. Kind of still goes on till this day in some places, if you can believe that. But yet these same kids will go to school together, don't mingle, don't associate with each other. And even the adults wouldn't associate with each other. They tolerate each other. But Friday night, during the football game, especially when you're playing against rival schools, you will see all black and white people. Now you got Hispanic too, a lot of them. But it was always, black and white people sitting together at games, cheering on the kids. Kids on the same team, playing side by side, of all races, come together for a freaking football game. Something as simple as a sport. Once the game over, they go back being segregated and can't stand each other. Or just stand away from each other. Their enemies become your friends for a common person, for one common purpose, and that's to gain victory as a whole. They've done it in wars, trying to keep black people out of fighting wars, go back to the Civil War, World Wars, this, that, and the third. But when they need them, they put them on, brought them in, and they technically fought side by side. Still couldn't get along, couldn't stand each other, but fought side by side. But they came together for one common goal, and that's for victory over a common enemy. Now we have a common enemy again. Excuse me. And but it was created by the politicians, which is the bad part about it. You had one president who said, man, we're going to close these borders, keep these people out, and maintain our American ways. You might say, sounds racist, bigoted, or what have you. And you say, okay, that could be what it's about, but is it the right thing to do in this instance? And you say yes. But then another president come out and said, no, we're going to let them all in. They can come across anywhere they want to. If they can seek asylum, they can come in. We're going to give them money. We're going to give them money. We're going to give them phones, shelter. We're going to do all that for them because they're trying to run from where they live. And you're like, what? That don't make sense. You got people in this country that needs to be taken care of, and you're not doing it. How in the heck you going to justify doing that? And then they come across, and then you see there are people who are attacking police. There are people out there who are being streetwalkers. There are people, illegal immigrants out there committing crimes. All this, that, and the third. Taking up valuable space and money and resources from this country. That is what you call an invasion and a common enemy. Every citizen, every politician should want the borders controlled. Maximally, if that's a word. Which means that everybody should come together for this one instance. It doesn't have to be between party lines. It's got nothing to do with party lines. This is about the American citizen, period. And for some reason, the Democratic Party I'm gonna say it's Democrat Party, because Republicans were saying, hey, we ain't gotta put no other bill on this. Just close the borders. We'll do everything else later. Democrats are like, well, you gotta sign this bill where $20 billion will go to the border, but the other money will go to Ukraine and Israel. What? No, forget Ukraine and Israel. We already don't want to give them money as it is. Why we just can't worry about us? I'm sorry, I can't close the border. That's that bullcorn. That's that bullcorn. That's the kind of stuff that makes you say, if you're a Democrat, maybe I need to rethink my vote seriously. But it's got to be a change, man. It's got to be a change. It's got to get better. Let's see. Quote unquote, this is a black male, Senator Tom Cotton, Republican, Arkansas, wrote in another post on social media. And in the administration that Biden controls the level of illegal immigration, the entire border crisis is by design, which it seems like for real. It really does seem like that, because it's not making sense. You got a governor down here, Greg Abbott, who's saying, man, look, too many people coming across. Y'all don't have to deal with that. Us, Arizona, California, Florida, we got to deal with this. Y'all don't have to deal with it like we do, because we're down here and they're coming from the South and they're just coming in swarms. We don't have the manpower. We're short of manpower, haven't been able to deal with all these people. You know what? The hell with that. Y'all want to be sanctuary cities? We'll send them up to y'all, let y'all deal with it. But it's not like people just come across the border, put them on the bus and send them out. They still have to be processed. It still had to be processed in order to be able to be sent up, because some of them do be sent back. You know what I'm saying? Now they saying that 80% of all these illegal immigrants who seek asylum are deported back across the border. I don't see how, when some of these people got cases that are like 6-7 years away from, down the line. Don't see how that's possible. But hey, for some reason, I don't know why. They're just not getting together. But real quick, another story. This is from foreigndesknews.com. Again, like I said, you have to find different news sources, because a lot of times the mainstream media will not cover things like this or in this way. It just go by, just let it go by them, because it's not the story that they've been told to deliver. But this says Biden to send troops to stop Texas from protecting border. Now, when you put it that way, if that don't make you say, man, Joe Biden and Democrats are full of it, I don't know what will change your mind. This says a new report is warning America that Joe Biden plans to use a National Guard on the southern border, not to secure it from the millions of illegal aliens who have invaded since he took office and opened the border, but to restrict Texas's ability to provide security. The report in PJ Media explains the confirmation comes from an Anchorage Daily News report that the Alaska National Guard said that a memorandum from the federal government has been issued directing Alaska forces to prepare 2 LUH-72 Lakota helicopters and 20 guardsmen to potentially be deployed in early 2025. Damn, really? Next year? What the hell? The report said Alaska Governor Mike Dunleavy, who supports Texas in its efforts to secure the national boundary, was removed from the decision-making process. The Daily News noted the request was deployed in a Title X duty status, meaning that the federal government would pay and Dunleavy would have little leeway to refuse. The PJ Media report explained the Guard won't go to help Texas staunch the onslaught of humanity. Rather, it would do the federal government's bidding. And I'm reading this. Okay, hold on. In fact, the government confirmed that there are no plans to ship soldiers in support of the security-focused Operation Lone Star being run by the great Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Abbott has also pointed out that the new Ukraine funding bill being pushed in Congress removes his and other states' rights to sue the federal government within their own states. The plan will require cases against the government to be heard in the overwhelmingly leftist District of Columbia. PJ Media was blunt in his comment. Joe Biden has called out the cavalry to ride to the rescue of illegal aliens breaking into the country. You read that right. Joe Biden is listening to his far left base and has nationalized a National Guard contingent to support the federal government's U.S.-Mexico border control efforts, which is to say Biden's opening up the southern border to the illegal invasion. In fact, when Biden took office, he destroyed all the border security procedures that has been instituted by President Donald Trump and has been proven effective. The result is that millions of illegal aliens have since flooded into America, costing taxpayers billions of dollars to provide them with health care, social services, and much more. So let's say it was like 80% of the migrants being shipped back. Think about it. The money that is costing the taxpayers for them to come in, being processed, being detained, being housed, being given health care and all that kind of stuff, and then takes years, up to like some years, for them to get to be vetted to say if they can or can't stay, and if they can't stay, they're gone. You've wasted millions upon billions of taxpayers' dollars. That's what your problem is. That's what you got to understand. Instead of just saying, hey, catch them at the border. No, you can't come. Yes, you can. No, we're going to process you right here. You're going to sit your butt over there in the Mexico side. You ain't coming over here. And if Mexico won't keep you, then that means you're going to have to go back home and wait your turn. That's going to save taxpayers a lot of money. And then maybe you can use that money, you understand, to help the American people. But oh no, that's not what they're doing. They're actually allowing this process to continue, which is crazy, man. I just don't, like I said, I just do not get it. I just do not get it. And the issue here, like reading this story, let's say this is propaganda news, because it sounds like a right-wing website. So they're using their little talking points to promote Donald Trump or what have you. But you have to look at the facts. Even if this is a right-wing publication, think about it. Joe Biden has said that he want to federalize the Texas troops, the National Guards. Anybody who's trying to send troops down there to help secure the border, he want to federalize them to where he can tell them to not do it. So basically, he'd rather send troops down or have troops down there stopping other U.S. troops and other U.S. policing authorities to control them to where they allow the illegal migrants to come in. Does that make sense? Tell me, does that make sense to you guys? Like, why in the heck? Make it make sense. I know I said it like 1,000 times. Stop saying that. But yet you still are going to justify voting for this president because he's a Democrat, and you've always voted Democrat, and the Republicans are racist, and they hate black people, and they hate Mexicans, and anybody else that's not white. And that takes me all the way to a guy by the name of Jesse Lee Peterson. And I brought him up in videos, and no, I don't like the things that he talk about, or the way he talks, especially about black people being a black man. But there's one thing he does say that he has said in all of his videos and his talking points. When people talk about racism, when you talk about the LGBT community, talk about people committing crimes, whatever. He supposedly is a guy that's about the Bible, about the scriptures, right? But when people bring up racism, he says there's no such thing. And everybody's up in arms, even myself. Even I was when I first heard him say that. And his guests talk about racism, says no such thing. Racism is made up. There's no such thing as racism. And he'll keep saying it, and they'll keep saying, well, yeah, it's this because these white people did this to us, or did to that, did us to that, is they racist. There's no such thing as racism. And we all looking like what the hell does it mean? And I'm the type of person, I'm gonna keep listening because I want to see. I know he's going somewhere with this. He's got to go somewhere with this, because if he ends on this, then he has no validation. He should have no validation with anyone with some sense. But then he comes out and says, there's no such thing as racism. There's no such thing as this and the third. It's only good and evil. He says when you break it down like that to where it's just good and evil, everything else don't matter. Now we know that this country, you have to understand racism and the way people think. Because if you don't understand racism, like Mr. Neely Fuller would say, then you don't understand. You'll always be confused about how this country is ran, because people use the subpoint of racism. But in the end, it's all good and evil. So that's why when I say enemies can come together for a common goal, because usually enemies come together for the good of the people, not for the detriment of people. That's usually how it happens. When people come together to fight together, it's for the betterment of the community. So it's good and evil. At that point, racism is gone. You got to get your racist, your hatred, your bigoted ideas and thoughts out of your head and say, hey, we have to do something about this. If this isn't fixed, we can fix everything else later. Forget this bipartisan bill bullcrap. Forget Ukraine, forget Israel. Right now, we just need to control this border. We can come back and deal with Ukraine and Israel and the Holocaust survivors and their offsprings later. Right now, we need to do something about this border. Let's come together and do it. If they don't do it, then you know who's the evil one and who's not when it comes to this situation here. Safety is number one. As a man, safety is number one for my family and my peoples. If you sit here and threaten the safety of my family and my loved ones, that's where the problem comes. That's where we draw the line at as men. And there's no two ways about it. Yeah, let's see. Abbott has pointed out. I think that's all I got for this story. Let's see. Critics of the move say Democrats want those millions of illegals because they want to register them as voters and turn America into a permanent one-party government. Hell, it should be a one-party government. To tell the truth. Now, should it be a one-party Democratic government? No. Should it be a one-party Republican government? No. It should just be for the people. Politicians should be for the people, helping just helping the people out, and that's it. There should be no divide because, hey, we're Republicans, we're gonna vote this one way, and another one say, hey, we're Democrats, we're gonna vote the other way. And it don't make sense. No, we're Republicans, we're gonna shut these borders down to help our country. Then the Democrats get in and say, oh, we're gonna open the borders. Why? Because the Republicans close them. What kind of sense that make? Like, seriously, what? Anyway, that's all I got for this story, man. Like I said, go through, search. You got the phones, you got your laptops, you got your iPads and your tablets, man. Get online, search these stories up, search policies that your nominee or candidate is running on. Period. Just find out what they're doing to help you as an individual, help your family, help your community, and then help the country as a whole. Just look for the policies, man. And not all of them you're going to agree with. It just doesn't happen. You don't agree with everything everybody says. Hell, you probably don't agree with some of the stuff that you say or that you do, but you know it has to be done for the betterment of the people. So you're not going to agree with everything, but you find out what's more important. What's the most important thing? And in my honest opinion, right now, the most important thing is security. Shoot, everybody got some kind of bigoted or racist type of, thoughts in their mind for whatever reason. So that shouldn't even matter. Like I say, it ain't got nothing to do with racism. It's about good and evil, what's right and wrong. But right now, the right thing to do is to protect the American people. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below and then share it with the world. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace and I'll see you on the other side.